Hi ho, it's Silver with another happiness hack. And boy, what a day I've had. I have to tell you, I do these videos by myself, something I'm really proud of because it's a new skill and it was challenging for me. But this morning everything seemed to go wrong. Everything I'd set up a whole bunch of stuff that seemed to have disappeared. My microphone wasn't working. And then I recorded one that I thought was really good, and I apparently had been on mute. so, um, but it's a great lead in to what we're going to talk about today because my happiness hack today is to reframe your story. Everything that we believe in our lives is a story that we made up. It isn't necessarily a fact. Some things are facts, like I have gray eyes and I have white hair. Those are facts. But whether those gray eyes or white hair suit me is just a story that I made up. And the story that I've made up all my life is that I'm stupid. And so even though intellectually I know I'm not stupid, I've always had that issue since I was very little for a number of reasons. But we all have those kinds of stories. And I have to tell you, in today's world with COVID and all the stuff that's happening politically and, all this mind-blowing stuff, being able to reframe your story is really important because people are feeling trapped, people are feeling anxious, they're feeling, traumatized. And a lot of that has to do with the story that you tell yourself. And so I want, the story that I have reframed for me is that I'm actually smarter. I'm really smarter than I ever thought I would be. And it's just another story that I made up. I may not be, I may be below IQ, who the heck knows, but it's something that makes me feel good. And that's the whole point of reframing your story, is to move from something that you're saying to yourself that makes you feel bad into something that actually makes you feel better about yourself and about the world in general. And so I like to say change is inevitable and suffering is optional. We have been going through change since we're little bitty babies, from the first time we walked, from the first time we had to pee in the toilet, from the first time, all those firsts, and they never stop. I don't know where we get the idea that that's going to stop once we're older and, know better, but it doesn't. It's never going to stop. And so COVID's been a great big whopping change in our lives, and it's really impacted a lot of things. But there's some good things that have come out of it as well. Like I've learned how to do video. It's a good thing for me. So, you can either, it's that whole argument, glass half full or half empty. My dad was kind of paranoid, so he didn't, he didn't want to know was it half full or half empty. He said, who put it there and what's in it? That was his thing. So change is inevitable. Listen, change is inevitable. I have not been drinking, I promise you. But I had a good friend of mine that used to say to me, "What's your?" I would tell her some story that I'd made up about me or about life in general, and she'd say, "What's your data for that?" And man, that used to tick me off because usually I would say something really inane like, "Well, I just have a gut feeling," or "It just makes sense." How many times have you said, "Well, it just makes sense"? Well, to you maybe, but not necessarily to the world. So part of what I look at when I'm feeling bad about something and I figure out what it is that I'm afraid of, because it always has to do with fear, my friends, always, is that I look and see what's my data for that. Do I really think, that I'm going to be trapped in this house for the rest of my life? No. Can I be dramatic, and go for that? Absolutely. But there's no data for that. Even that horrible, virus that hit 100 years ago, eventually it ended, and this one will too. So what I've learned is that action cancels fear every time. Take some action, and the action I'm requesting that you take is to reframe your story. And just make up some, look, if you're going to make up a story, why not make up one that makes you feel good? That's the whole key to it. So reframe your story is this week's happiness hack. It works for me so well, and I hope it'll work for you too. And I'm here to tell you, you deserve to be happy, and it is possible. Bye for now.